My brothers and sisters in Islam, when we look at what's happening to the Ummah, and when we look around us, and we see the weakness of the nation of Islam, and the weakness of the Muslims, and no one cares what they believe or what they think, and no one cares about them. And we ask ourselves, as we wake up every day, a new disaster, a new problem, loss of souls. We ask ourselves, what is the cause or what is the reason from the state, for this state and this condition? And many people have different theories and different ways of thinking. The cause and the solution. What are the causes? What are the solutions? But what's important is for us to understand the reasons that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told us about in the Sunnah, and the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam informed us of in the Sunnah. Because if you don't know the disease and the sickness, acknowledge the problem, then you cannot solve it. You cannot cure the person who is sick. Some people believe that it's because of the plots and the plans of the enemies of Islam that this is the reason why we're in this state. But this is something that always happened throughout history of Islam. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He told us, وَيَمْكُرُونَ وَيَمْكُرُ اللَّهُ وَاللَّهُ خَيْرُ الْمَاكِرِينَ. They plot and they plan, and Allah plots and plan, and Allah is the best of the planners. And as much as they may do, whatever they may do, it doesn't matter if we fulfill what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told us to. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He says, وَإِن تَصْبِرُوا وَتَتَّقُوا لَا يَضُرُّكُمْ كَيْدُهُمْ شَيْئًا. If you are patient and you have taqwa, fear of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, لَا يَضُرُّكُمْ كَيْدُهُمْ شَيْئًا. That their plans and their plots will not harm you in any way, شَيْئًا. So the reality of the matter is that if we have belief, true belief in taqwa in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and we have patience, we are firm upon our religion, then whatever that we may face, sooner or later it will be removed. The status will change. But we have to fulfill those requirements. Other people say that it's because of the disunity of the Muslims. And it's true that it may be one of the causes. Because when we are separated, there is no doubt that's the reason for the weakness of the Ummah. وَلَا تَنَازِعُوا فَتَفْشَلُوا. Do not dispute and disagree, فَتَفْشَلُوا. And therefore you will not be successful, you will fail. However, this unity has to be upon righteousness, upon calling to the oneness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and worshiping Him alone. Not just any unity, bringing people together who don't know why they are together, or if they even have the same cause and the same reason, it will not benefit them. That's why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَتَعَاوَنُوا عَلَى الْبِرِّ وَالتَّقْوَى وَلَا تَعَاوَنُوا عَلَى الْإِثْمِ وَالْعُدْوَانِ. You see, there are two types of ta'awun here. Ta'awun ala al-birri wal-taqwa. To be united and to cooperate with one another upon righteousness and taqwa, and not upon ithm, sin, and aggression. Because otherwise we'll be like Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He says, تَحْسَبُهُمْ جَمِيعًا وَقُلُوبُهُمْ شَتَّى. That you think that they are together, united, but their hearts are separated in every direction. So unity that's not clear, the goals are not clear, they're not upon the same heart, the same way of thinking. That which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has commanded it to unite upon, it doesn't benefit. And others blame the leaders of the Ummah, the rulers. They are the cause, they are the reason. If it wasn't for them, we wouldn't have been in this state. And they may be part of the problem. But what you have forgotten is that the Ummah is not just rulers, it's those who are being ruled as well. And they are a reflection of those who lead them. And that's why one of these scholars said, كَمَا تُوَلُّونَ أو كَمَا تَكُونُونَ يُوَلَّ عَلَيْكُمْ. The way you are, your state of religion, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will put people who lead you based on that. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will not let people like Abu Bakr and Umar lead the Ummah. Because their followers were people who worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, who supported them to establish the deen of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Not a nation that's full of disobedience, far from Islam, they are away from implementing their religion, from praying, establishing the deen of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Even if Umar ibn Khattab radiallahu anhu was the leader of the Ummah today, he will face a Ummah that doesn't want to worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that's disobeying Him, that's innovating in the religion of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, imitating what they shouldn't be imitating, celebrations that have no basis in Islam. How is an Ummah in this state going to have, or Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is going to give them victory when they disobeyed Him and didn't fulfill the basic requirements of nusrah and support and aid? So for us to solve the problem and find a true solution, we have to acknowledge the problem in itself. It's easy to accuse others of your problems. That's the easy way out. Do not feel the guilt. This person did it, he's the cause of that person. So that you can feel comfortable that you are not part of the problem. But in reality you are. We all are. Because the Ummah is individuals, based on individuals who form families, communities, and so forth. If they are oppressors, then we are oppressors as well. Look around you. Managers who oppress those who are under them, delay their salaries, abuse them, mistreat them. What's the difference? It's just on a different level. But we want to blame others and look at ourselves, we are the innocent ones. But the reality, we are the same, or even worse maybe. When we look at the Sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ in the Quran, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us the condition for His support and His aid. And He says, إِن تَنْصُرُ اللَّهَ يَنْصُرُكُمْ. إِن تَنْصُرُ اللَّهَ. This is a condition that if you support and you aid Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He will aid you. It's not sufficient to claim that you are Muslim, that you love Islam. There has to be actions. We have to do things. We disobey Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, how in the world are we going to get His support and His aid? But if we do so, then no one can overcome us. إن تنصر الله فلا غالب لكم وإن يخذلكم فمن ذا الذي ينصركم من بعده. If you aid and support Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, then no one can overcome you. This is a promise from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. No one, however strong they may be. However, وَإِن يَخْذُلْكُمْ فَمَنْ الَّذِي يَنْصُرُكُمْ مِنْ بَعْدِهِ. If He forsakes you, then who will support you after Him? And then He says, وَعَلَى اللَّهِ فَلْيَتَوَكَّلِ الْمُؤْمِنُونَ. And upon Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala should the believers rely. So our reliance should be in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Our aid is for Him and His religion. Or indeed Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the one who decrees everything, the trials, tribulations, the problems that we face from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, to wake us up, to return back to His religion. Sitting back doing nothing, accusing others is not going to solve the problem. It's in our hands to change ourselves. If we do that, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will support us. وعد الله الذين آمنوا منكم وعملوا الصالحات ليستخلفنهم في الأرض كما استخلف الذين من قبلهم وليمكنن لهم دينهم الذي ارتضى لهم وليبدلنهم من بعد خوفهم أمنا يعبدونني لا يشركون بي شيئا. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He promises us. But who does He promise? He says, وَعَدَ اللَّهُ الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا مِنكُمْ. Allah promises those who believe of you. And what else? Do righteous deeds. وَعَمِلُوا الصَّالِحَاتِ لَا يَسْتَخْلِفَنَّهُم فِي الْأَرْضِ. He will give them authority on the land. And He will establish their religion that He has chosen for them. And He will substitute their fear with safety and security on the condition of what? Just because they are Muslims, يَعْبُدُونَنِي لَا يُشْرِكُونَ بِي شَيْئًا. They worship me alone. They don't associate partners with me. So for us to be established on this land, there are conditions that we have to fulfill. Because in this earth, is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He owns it and He gives it to whom He wills. إِنَّ الْأَرْضَ لِلَّهِ يُورِثُ مَنْ يَشَاءُ مِنْ عِبَادِهِ. The land, the earth is for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He may give it to whom He wills from His servants. But He says what? وَالْعَاقِبَةُ الْمُتَّقِينَ. The outcome is for the righteous ones. So what of we know that we have to support Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We must support Him and aid His religion. But one of the reasons why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has put us in this state is because we have attached ourselves to the dunya. And this is the reason why the nations have gathered against the Muslims and Islam. As the Prophet ﷺ, he told us. And these reasons throughout the history are the same. The problem is the same and the results are the same. If you read the books of the scholars 600 years ago, 700, 800, they'll give you the same description and the same solution. The Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, he said, يُوشِكُ أَن تَدَاعَ عَلَيْكُمُ الْأُمَمِ كما تداعى الأكلة إلى قصعتها. قالوا ومن قلة يومئذ نحن يا رسول الله. قال بل أنتم كثير ولكنهم غثاء كغثاء السيل. ولينزعن الله من قلوب عدوكم المهابة منكم وليقذفن في قلوبكم الوهن. قالوا وما الوهن يا رسول الله؟ قال حب الدنيا وكراهية الموت. Prophet sallallahu alayhi wasallam, he tells us the narration that soon the nations would gather and come together against you. Just like those people who are eating come together to eat a dish. The Sahaba radiallahu anhum wondered, they were amazed. How would that affect them? Just because they came together. So they asked, أَوَ مِنْ قِلَّةٍ يَوْمَئِذٍ نَحْنُ. Is it because of our small numbers in that time? At that time, O Messenger of Allah, is it because we are outnumbered? He says, بَلْ أَنْتُمْ كَثِيرٌ. No, you are numerous in numbers. The numbers are not the issue. وَلَكِنَكُمْ غُثَاء كَغُثَاءِ السَّيْلِ. You are like the scum of a torrent, the garbage. And He says, Allah will remove the fear that the enemy has. He will remove from their hearts that he has of you. And He will put in your hearts al-wahan. So they asked him, what is al-wahan? He said, حُبُّ الدُّنْيَا, the love of the dunya and the hate of death. So again, the numbers are not the issue. Just coming together, having many Muslims, more than 1 billion, the biggest nation, if they are not upon righteousness and worshiping Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, then it doesn't matter. As Umar radiallahu anhu said, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given us victory or strength because of us obeying Him and the disobedience of His enemies. But when we are equal to them in disobeying Him, then they will have the upper hand over us. Because it's about obedience of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The thing that makes you different is your belief in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, your support from Him. Umar ibn Khattab radiyallahu anhu, he said, what did he say? He says, نحن قوم أعزنا الله بالإسلام ومهما ابتغينا العزة بغيره أذلنا الله. We are people who are honored because of Al-Islam. Allah gave us subhanahu wa ta'ala this state because of Al-Islam only. And however, and in many ways, if we may seek it to achieve this honor with other than it, meaning Al-Islam, adallana Allah, Allah will humiliate us. So it's about our religion, sticking firmly to our religion of Al-Islam. Otherwise, it's no different. So don't blame others, whatever they may be, whatever the causes may be. Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He promised us, وَعَدَ اللَّهَ لَا يُخْلِفُ اللَّهُ وَعْدَهُ. Allah does not. When He promises, He fulfills His promise. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He told us that if we support Him and aid Him, He will support us, and we know that's a fact. But have we fulfilled these conditions, these requirements? قولوا قولي هذا واستغفر الله. الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين وبعد. As we mentioned, there are many reasons and causes for this state of the Muslims, the weakness. But these are the main reasons and some of the main solutions. Also, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He tells us, He says, الَّذِينَ إِن مَكَّنَّاهُمْ فِي الْأَرْضِ أقاموا الصلاة وآتوا الزكاة وأمروا بالمعروف ونهوا عن المنكر ولله عاقبة الأمور. He says they also are those who, when we establish them on the earth, they do what? أقاموا الصلاة. They establish the prayer. The first thing. وآتوا الزكاة. They give zakah. وَأَمَرُوا بِالْمَعْرُوفِ, enjoying the good. وَنَهُوا عَنِ الْمُنكَرِ, and they forbid the evil. وَلِلَّهِ عَاقِبَةُ الْأُمُورِ, and the outcomes for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the affairs, the outcome of the affairs to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So let's ask ourselves, what is the condition of the Muslims with their prayer? On a personal level, community level, how many Muslims pray Fajr in the masjid? The men. How many even pray in the masjid, period? In the jama'ah? How many of us combine prayers as if we can pray whenever we feel like it? As if somebody's a traveler, they just combine because they have more important things to do. So the prayer comes last. Even though we're going to be asked about our prayer, the first thing. So in reality, it's just a claim. When we say that we love our religion and we practice it, and we are Muslims, it's easy to say it, but your actions have to be a reflection of it. Otherwise, it's just a claim. وَآتَوُا الزَّكَاةِ, they give zakah. How many people, how many Muslims don't give zakah? Maybe some of them never even heard of it or thought about giving zakah. One of these punishments, great punishments, Yawm al-Qiyamah, of those who don't give zakah. وَأَمَرُوا بِالْمَعْرُوفِ, enjoying the good, forbid the evil. Not only don't we don't act upon these actions, but even worse, we may even make fun of those who enjoying the good. Or have this pride and arrogance. When we are advised, we may even say that it's none of your business, or think like that. Or look at these people as if they are crazy or something. But if we leave out this obligation, then it's one of the causes of the punishment of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And that's why the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, he commanded us, مَنْ رَأَى مِنْكُمْ مُنْكَرًا فَلْيُغَيِّرْهُ بِيَدِهِ. Whoever of you sees in munkar, something that's evil, forbidden, then he must change it with his hands, if he has the ability. فَإِنْ لَمْ يَغَيِّرْ فَلْيُغَيِّرْهُ بِيَدِهِ فَإِنْ لَمْ يَسْتَطِعْ فَبِلِسَانِهِ. And if he cannot do it If he cannot change it with his hand, then with his tongue. And if not, with his heart. The bare minimum that you hate this sin, if you have no authority, if you cannot change it. So we leave it, we do not enjoin the good, forbid the evil, and we may even make fun of those who do so. We'll make fun of those who try to practice their religion. Maybe many of us don't even act or even look like Muslims. You don't even know if the person is a Muslim, because nothing shows, whether it's their actions or the way they look or the way they carry themselves. So we are far into our religion, but at the same time we're complaining and we're wondering why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala doesn't support us and aid us, give us victory. It's because of us. So we should stop blaming others, because that's the easy way out. And if we don't stop doing it, then we will never solve the problem. You don't not acknowledge that you are sick. The fact that you have to go to a doctor because you're feeling ill, then you will never cure, or you may not. If you don't realize that you need help because of a problem that you are facing, how are you going to solve the problem? Or if you think that the solution is something else when it's wrong, you're going to stay in the same cycle, continue to do the same thing, and remain in the same problem. So we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to enlighten us, to give us knowledge, implementation of it, to strengthen us, to help us, support and aid us, help us change ourselves, implement His religion, and to use us to do that which is good, to give us patience. إنه ولي ذلك والقادر عليه.